It is bad. I thought they said 11 grams of protein for a second. I was like, gosh.
She's like, all right.
I know they've gotten a little excessive with the whole protein and everything thing, but I didn't think it was that bad.
It is in everything. It is in.
They have to have like protein seltzers.
I'm sure
it's coming.
If not, we should make them.
It's coming. Because shoot, it's just in everything. It's the new fat-free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Low sugar, zero sugar.
Yeah,
zero sugar
it's the
soda.
whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's because I've been going to the store. It's great because like I've seen people criticizing the protein stuff, and it's all whey protein, which is the best protein. A little biased, but it's the best.
It's the cheapest.
Yeah, there's been like there's like all that protein donuts, protein Pop-Tarts, protein. I've had protein water, protein lemonade, protein everything, and I love it.
Protein lemonade.
it's
I'm not
the-
gonna lie. Protein lemonade sounds disgusting.
It's
I
not.
don't know.
It's
it
not
sounds
bad.
gross.
It's not bad.
It's the protein water that's crazy to me.
And there's one in the fridge. We'll get it out. We'll do a taste test. How about that? It's basically like they say it's protein water, but it's literally just like clear protein shake, basically. It's just whey protein. It's pretty neat though. I'm a fan of it, but a lot of people are like, people don't need that much protein. Like, yeah, the average person doesn't, but if you're lifting, it's great. Like, just do a little bit of lifting, and you'll use all of it.
Well, it's a good dietary supplement too. If you're not eating 2,000 calories a day, you still want some protein. You know?
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, I think it's like 7.7 grams per pound is the recommended pound of body weight you have.
What, a day?
Yeah. I think
7 grams of protein per pound.
0.7
Oh,
per pound.
We'll just say
Seven, I was like,
we'll
Christ.
just say 1.
That's a big difference.
Is it?
Yeah, it's 30%.
Well, I mean, it does add up.
Yeah.
Well, I
You're
guess
100
if you're talking
pounds,
about
yeah.
hundreds of pounds, yeah.
But
For a
anyway.
fat ass like me, that's like an extra 60.
60
It's like, holy shit.
But yeah, so we're here with Scott. Scott is a brother-in-law. You know, he's here because we have some fun conversation, I think, planned. Ethan, right? You wrote notes down?
No, I didn't. I just brought it in case I forget what I want to talk about because that happens every
That's
single time.
That's
So-
fair.
Yeah.
Been there. I just do
At
it
least
on
you
my
write
phone.
it down. I
Right.
just forget it.
Yeah.
If I remember.
Scott's just like, oh, well, shit.
Yeah, see, I used to do that and then I would never remember. So,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like,
Yeah, every time he's just sitting there and we're talking, I see him start penciling. I'm like, all right, quick, ramble. I'm like, now I got to ramble for like a couple minutes, let him finish his thought, and we're good. But yeah, I don't know. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. Probably just because I've gotten at least an idea of what I want to talk about.
well, yeah, you always come in with specific things you want to talk about. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I have an idea. So
Mhm.
I don't know about you. I think Scott watches Caleb Hammer.
Mhm.
Do you you don't watch Caleb Hammer much?
I don't like watch his like full episodes, but I definitely follow him on like my social media like handles
like
and
the
stuff. Yeah.
shorts and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I've noticed a trend, and you probably have too, Scott.
Mhm.
There have been a lot of people with VA disability
There
on
are.
the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
like a lot. And it seems like all of them are at or near 100% disability, which is, I mean,
It is interesting to be 100%. I mean, that's a lot of paperwork.
yeah, but they're 100% disability. And I guess to summarize, 100% disability, you're getting, I think it's up to what, $4,000 a month is 100%.
I'll take your word for it. I don't
think
know.
I think that's
offhand.
what it is. It's like just under. It's like 39
Yeah.
something. But you're basically getting $4,000 a month, tax free, inflation adjusted, a month for your disability. And I'm all for disability for
Man, I
veterans. Like I'm all for it. I think that's fantastic. If you serve, the country needs to serve you in that regard. But it gets a little suspicious when all these cases start lining up one after another, where the majority of them seem to be, oh, I have 100% disability. What's your disability? Anxiety. My joints hurt.
Mhm.
It's like 100%. 100% means you can't work. Not always, but that's like general rule of thumb. Is the closer you are to 100%, the less like they have to subsidize because you can't work.
Yeah, through standard viewing of disability.
Yeah.
But whenever they talk about disability, there's other aspects to consider too.
I know
Because there'd be like, if you have a disability, let's say you have maybe not their examples, but let's say you have PTSD or something else like that. It might be a little bit harder for somebody to, let's say, raise some kids. So you financially need some additional assistance there. Or other just general medical expenses that might be associated with it. But I do see what you're talking about with the Caleb Hammer thing, with everybody seeming like they got 100%. It is really weird.
Yeah.
That's not, well, I shouldn't say weird. I think it has to do more with people understanding systems.
Okay.
Because
Interesting.
if you think about it, and also with stigmas. Because originally a lot of people were like, hey, disability, that's bad. Tough guy, tough gal, don't need to take any disability. Don't want to deal with that. I'm perfectly fine.
Support yourself.
Yes. A lot of that stigma with like mental health, all that other stuff. People are less shy about doing that.
Okay.
So that could cause a lot of those increases that you're seeing.
Because so for the metrics here, so we know kind of like the increase in the last 20 years, it's gone up from about 9% via getting disability. That's any disability to about 25 to 30%.
Sure. What happened in the last 20 years?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like there's reasons for it. It's just whether we decide these reasons, not we, but as a public, we agree if these reasons kind of make sense for the inflation as well. Because like you said, it's possibly better understanding of the system too.
Sure.
Because there's been, I don't know how true it is, but supposedly there are people that help coach to get 100%, which I don't know the legality of that. And I'm not going to really talk on that because I don't know if I hear it. I don't know if it's true. And if it is true, I don't think it's legal. I think because whenever I hear people talk about it, they're like, oh yeah, the guy showed me what to do and I got coached on it. But I'm not going to talk on that because I don't know. That's a very unknown. That could be the scapegoat for all these things I want to talk about. So I'm not going to focus on that. I want to try and focus on what we know and try to like talk through where these numbers are coming from, what could be the potential for them, why we're seeing what we're seeing, just like that. So I agree. I think the Gulf War, Iraq War, leading up to the continuation.
That'd be a
of that.
big increase with a 20-year long war. People will definitely be increasing since before then. What was the last war? What was it? Korean, Vietnam, something like that?
Well, so I looked at the Vietnam War, and the veterans, percentage-wise, the percentage of veterans get less. So there's less people overall and less percentage of the veterans get the VA disability. Now, it has increased, but it has not increased the same amount as just overall has. So overall went from about 9 to 25 to 30%. And the veterans for the Vietnam War have gone up to just about 25, a little under 25% of them receive VA disability. But it's interesting because that could be a couple of things. It could be people, the veterans who would have received that have died before they got the benefits. So that could have lowered the percentage wise. Just interesting to me because like you said earlier, the mentality of it too, that was an era where, a little more, I don't know, not shameful is not the right word, but they felt shame in receiving disability.
From a stigma perspective. Yeah. That's probably, that could very well be it. It's like, hey, no, I'm not affected.
It's just interesting that it seems in the last 20 years it's exploded, but I think that's the number.
Could it be the support for the war? Like Vietnam Wars historically wasn't supported, right?
It could be.
Could that have something to do with it? And then like
was the Iraq Gulf War supported?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I'm
like
just throwing it out there.
I feel like that one was pretty...
I think it was in the beginning.
Yeah.
If you remember back in 2001 when I kicked off, freaking American flags everywhere.
Everybody
were super into this. It wasn't until a little bit later that it started declining real fast, especially recently.
Right.
But here's the thing: hindsight's always 20/20 with those things. Of course, people are going to be like, "Well, I never supported it." It's like, well, I bet you probably did at the time.
Yeah, you did when it was cool to.
I was going to say, you're right, because I don't see we didn't see the mass protesting like we did with the Vietnam. Like Vietnam War, you can verifiably see the people angry about it, whereas the Iraq War is people like, I knew we shouldn't have been over there. Yeah. It's like, okay, where were the mass protests? Like, I'm sure there were probably a few protests, but
and I'm sure there were.
I don't think there's anything going to be in the history books about them.
But real quick, we decided to talk to Scott about this specific subject because Scott, you do have a military background, right? I don't know if you want to touch on that real quick.
Just a little bit. I'm basically a part-timer for the most part.
But you have like some experience.
Yes, yeah. 10 years in the Tennessee Army National Guard. So I've seen a couple different perspectives. Have some friends over in the VA. So yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, seen it from a different couple perspectives. Had some stories from folks.
Right.
Yeah. And that's why I want to talk to them too, is because my perspective, because I don't know your perspective yet. We'll get in there.
Yeah.
He's writing it down.
I don't know. I don't know it either. It's not something I've really thought about.
My perspective is that of a civilian, and it's from outside looking in. And then obviously I can be more, when I say critical, I don't mean like necessarily analytically critical. I just mean like I can be critical from looking in, because I'm like, oh, look what they're doing with this potential fraud or issue and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but I'm not in it, so I don't, I don't see it. So I'm trying to be mindful and make sure I'm not having a bias when I'm approaching this stuff, because, like you said, I think a lot of the explanation you said really early, like right away, stigma and stuff that people probably don't even consider right off the bat when they hear like the fraud, like quote fraud going on. I'm going to be skeptical calling it fraud, because I think we had this conversation a while ago.
Right.
It's not fraud in terms of like they're doing they're working within the confines of the system.
Right.
So it's not technically fraud. They're allowed to do this. They're following the guidelines. They're doing the things. But when I'm using fraud,
abuse.
Yeah, abuse of it. It's like, okay, yeah, you might be able to get 100% for your anxiety and joint pain, but you're also working another job. You're getting $200,000 a year at that job. Do you really need that $4,000 from disability? And it's not necessarily do you need it or not. It's like, because in my point, it's
like you're looking at it as kind of like it's taking a sick day as PTO or something.
I look at it as it's taking advantage of a system that's got limited resources, and the allocation of those resources, I think there could be better spent elsewhere. Mainly like homelessness for veterans. Like how much of the fraud that's going to these people, and I just abuse that's going to these people who are getting 100% when they don't need 100% could be spent housing homeless veterans. That's just something that's my reasoning for being so interested in this topic.
Sure.
Because we always hear the news talking about like, and especially the right uses we need to house the homeless veterans. Homeless veterans, we don't even help them. We help migrants better than we help the homeless veterans. And it's like, well, I feel like we can we don't have to increase the spending. We don't have to. I feel like we can find the funds within the program to probably do that.
They probably could. I think it's just political talking points.
Sometimes. Yeah, 100%.
It's like if they really wanted to do it, you could probably do it.
Like we said the last episode, it's like, do they really want to fix it?
Have you heard from that Congresswoman Luna, what she said? She said that the Congress people will not fix issues just so they can run on them again in the future. Like it's kind of like a thing that it's like it's just a thing.
That's certainly what it probably
right.
Certainly what it is.
Well, I don't want to fix this because that's what they elect me for.
Yeah. I just want to show that I put an effort in, but not actually correct it.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Walk that line. Yep.
Yeah. That's where we become invaluable, so they can't fire you or what have you.
Yeah.
Same thing with the civilian sector.
Right. Oh, sure.
But no, one thing I was kind of thinking of though, when you were talking about the increase for Vietnam veterans and whatnot. Or not the increase since then. I would also argue nowadays, a lot of people have the understanding that if it's not documented, it didn't happen. Back then, probably not super into the documentation piece.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because that's a newer terminology.
Yep.
And it's used a lot in offices and such, but it's going to be the same for the government as well.
Right.
So if it didn't document, how are you going to prove that this disability is yours? And people are a lot more savvy to that nowadays. So that would really increase, what it's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, if you look at the Vietnam veterans, if they're doing it now, as an older generation, no offense to those folks, but they're old.
Right. Right.
Filling out those forms can be complicated.
Yep.
It can take a while. If you're going through traditional means, that could take years before you get your disability. And that's where those third parties sometimes come into effect.
Yep.
I know VA doesn't always like the third parties, but sometimes they're necessary. They can kind of help guide folks through that. I think there's actually an episode on Last Man Standing once that talked about one of the characters where his main job was an admin in the military, helping veterans fill out those forms because they just didn't understand it. And I think that it has a sense of truth within it.
Sure.
Which is a good consideration as to why the increase happened.
Right. So yeah, there's more knowledge around it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
what's the Last Man Standing? What is that?
That's the one with Tim Allen, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Tim Allen, is it how big was it? I never watched it.
It was a fairly decent show. It got
seasons?
canceled once and then brought back on, I think, to Fox.
Was it like a reality show?
No, it was a sitcom.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That was a conservative sitcom.
Yes. No, okay, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, it's just, to me, the issue is just seeing those. It is the abuse. The abuse is what.
Well, it seems like there could be potential for abuse.
Yes.
We're not accusing anybody.
No, but I mean, so because I was just doing some brief journal research, and we're talking about like the homelessness, and so the funding and everything, and I didn't want to get too technical into numbers. But just because just add some context is like we were saying earlier, we say a number, we say like the VA disability payout claims and stuff was about 10 million or 10 billion in 2000.
Okay.
And now it's about 149.
Which is because we went into a war, had a lot of IEDs where people lost legs, limbs, the whole. I'll say legs and limbs,
so like percentage, percentage wise, the whole funding went up. Like the whole funding went up. It went from like, because now the funding for that part of the VA disability, I think, is in total more than the actual entire VA program was receiving in 20 years ago. It's all gone.
Sure.
It's all
because we had a bulk in service members,
inflation,
and disabilities,
a war, stuff like that. To me, what my point being is like, so we can assume that there's, let's say, abuse. I don't know. Fraud is, let's say, abuse. I was looking up, conservative estimates of abuse numbers and what those look like in government programs, and anywhere between, 0.25% to 1% is wide ranging. I sat at about, let's say, 0.5%. 0.5% of the budget is probably some sort of abuse or fraud or combination.
Is that speculation, or is that?
So there's no set number because nobody's gone through and actually like determined what is abuse and what's fraud, so they can't find the number. But overall, through government programs like that, you're looking at a ranging, and it just depends on the program. So the programs who've been around longer have a lower percent or fraction of a percent of the it being fraudulent or abusive or abused. And that's why I kind of low, instead of keeping it like 1%, which would make my claim sound a lot better. I've brought around 5 or 0.5%, because that's pretty realistic for these programs. Like I said, the numbers you'd have to go in and see in their actual spreadsheets if they've accounted for, which a brief looking over, I didn't see anything of that. Like they didn't, like you go Google search like fraud percent of VA, it's not there. It doesn't exist.
Right.
You could probably maybe try and find it, but overarching, nobody has created that just data point to just look up.
Sure.
So my point being is you're looking at 149 billion, quarter of or about 0.5% is about just under $1 billion. And the estimate for the homeless population is about 33,000 homeless veterans, which is, I thought it'd be way more. I'm gonna be honest. When I hear about the problem of homeless veterans, I think that number is like 10 or hundreds of thousands, if not like a lot. But I guess it makes sense because the actual veteran population is not ginormous.
Sure.
Anyway,
what's the percentage of that?
Overall, the homeless veterans, I don't know homeless veterans to veteran percentage, but the homelessness veterans to, I think, homeless percentage, it's like not even 1%. It's like mass majority.
No, I'm talking about like what percentage of veterans are homeless?
Yeah, it's like under, not even close to 1%. It's like a 0.00%. It's tiny. But with the numbers I was giving earlier, you could, in theory, according to, well, you're going to criticize this, rightfully so. Supposedly, you can solve homelessness with about $20,000 per year per person.
$20,000?
Yeah.
What are they putting them in connexes? Like, what
well,
are they doing?
supposedly, government programs can supposedly house one person for the entire year at $20,000.
Bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I knew he was going to say. Yeah, okay, California. Doing great.
That's what
that's California?
No, I don't know.
God.
I'm just saying in general, the number is, they say 20,000 can conservatively house people for a year.
Oh, yeah.
That being said,
I mean, technically, I guess you could say that's true.
Yeah, if you, like barely surviving. Like,
just housing them.
What's a shitty studio apartment cost in, I don't know, somewhere? You can find that for $20,000 a year.
Yeah, not New York, obviously, not California.
Like, Yeah, I mean, you could technically house them. All you're doing is throwing them in a house, though. It doesn't account for.
But my point being is
food.
the estimated fraud, the conservative estimate of fraud is more than the cost of.
Or maybe they're just throwing like 10 homeless people in one house or something.
That'd be fun. That'd be a fun reality show.
Oh my god,
Ooh,
that'd be a better reality show than what's on TV now.
Yeah.
Than what I don't know.
The Real Homeless of Atlanta.
There you go. Just move them all. It's only 30,000.
That's a cheap budget for a studio.
Yeah, but basically, the entire estimated fraud or abuse could house all the veterans.
Yeah,
supposedly. It's also government program. So I mean, do we really expect it to be?
Well, sure,
effective, but
yeah, because you got to make sure you pay whoever's in charge of it $100,000 a year.
Yeah,
no.
My point is though is like if we. Those funds could be better allocated within the system. I'm not calling to cut funding for programs to the VA. I think the VA is very important. I think the VA benefits are very important.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see them cut at all. I just think you could better allocate these resources because it's like on those episodes of Caleb Hammer. There's a guy. He made $200,000 a year, and on top of that, still got $4,000 for 100% disability.
Yeah,
that's insane. The disability, to my understanding, is meant to kind of. And I'm not even going to get into his service because allegedly his service was like 2 years on reserve. So that's why
2 years.
Yeah, yeah. Two. That might have been the one before 4 years. I think his was 4, but still like reserve.
That's still a short contract.
Yeah, but you're getting 100% disability. I'm not here to say. I'm not in the position. It's not my thing to say he doesn't deserve that or not. It's just you're paying him this amount of money when he's making good income outside of it. Couldn't that money be better allocated to these homelessness programs?
Well, yeah, you would think like that it's a disability, right? So it's to help people who are disabled who can't support themselves, right? He's obviously able to support himself if he has a $200,000 a year salary, right? Like I see I agree with you at that point. Like I don't think somebody who's making that salary should be able to receive disability benefits. Like obviously you don't need it. You're doing just fine, right?
Again, depending on where he lives too.
Yeah.
If that's household or if that's him as an individual.
Him as an individual.
And as an individual.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is high.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
At the same time, do you want to penalize people who got injured while they were there?
Yeah. And that's why it's difficult because like I don't.
But it's not like penalizing them. It's just.
No, I meant like penalizing the success of somebody.
I don't even see it as. I see what you're saying. I like personally just don't see that as penalizing somebody because, like I said, a disability is because. Well, I guess it's because you're disabled. But the whole point in a disabled person needing assistance and help is because they can't do it on their own.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If he's able to do it on his own, like you said, should his money be allocated to somebody else who's struggling a little bit more? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
If it's a social program, it should be. If we're going to use a social program like that, then the aspect of it is it needs to be more social. Like in a socialist mindset, he wouldn't necessarily like they would reallocate that to someone who needs it more.
Right. From each,
and I don't necessarily agree with that mindset. But what I'm saying is if it's a system it's a social system, if it's going to operate like a social system, then it needs to operate like a social system, and it's not.
Sure.
Well, that's the whole point of. Yeah, to each according to his needs, from each according to his abilities, right? Like that's the whole point of it.
That's communism.
Well, that's what socialism is. Yeah. That's the end game of
that's
socialism.
What I'm saying. If the program exists in that framework, it's doing a very poor job of existing in that framework and working.
Right.
Like,
yeah. No, I get it. There was a, if I recall correctly, shout out to Angry Cops. He's the one that educated me on this one, which is another YouTube platform. There was probably 3-4 years ago, a congressional budgetary meeting that had something similar with that, where it's like if you had a household over 170,000, you would be earning lesser from your disability. Like it would be like a 2-to-1 ratio or something like that. But the problem is they said that was just household, had no impact on how many kids you might have been supporting. So there's other areas that they were just looking at dollar figures, and that kind of was the problem. And it would impact people that are already taking the disability. So if you had no legs, but let's say your spouse was a nurse and making a good amount of money, then, well, sucks for you. I know you got 5 kids, but we're not going to help you out with that. That's on you now.
Right.
That's where the type of budgetary thing kind of comes into a problem. I see what you're talking about with that one individual.
And then it's just an individual.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But when you look at it from a whole, it can impact people in different ways. Especially, let's say he lives in New York. That's not going to go as far as it would here in Tennessee.
True.
Tennessee, that 170, you'd be fine.
Right. Right.
But if you're looking at New York, Los Angeles, even like Tampa or something, that's not going to take you nearly as far.
Sure.
And then all that is going to be on you. So if you lost your limbs, you have a hard time getting around.
I think he was Alabama.
He's Alabama. He's making 200 in Alabama.
I don't know. It was some southern state like that. It wasn't one of the major ones.
No,
but it doesn't matter.
But just as a general
example, I see it's a lot more nuanced than
right. Exactly. It's not just simply
a lot of factors.
Figures.
Yeah. Right.
Now, I think what they could review personally is what they count as being covered. Because me personally, I don't take any of the disability. Don't think I've earned anything. Every injury or whatever I have now, like got a little bit of tinnitus, got a little bit of back pain, all that good stuff. I remember whenever I was, I was in the process of resigning the commission. I had somebody say, "Hey, you could probably get 10 to 20% disability if you just start listing out all these issues." But I was like, no, these are just life issues, something that I probably ended up doing myself. The ringing in my ear, well, that's probably from listening to music too dang loud in the gym.
Yeah, sure.
Back pain, probably also the gym, probably doing deadlifts wrong. Yes, it's part of the PT test, all that other good stuff, but or at least was. I don't know if it still is, but that was my big thing. If it happens naturally, why does it need to be included? If it's a natural part of aging, that's where I think they should kind of reevaluate where those would be coming from a personal perspective.
Yeah. Well, that's I respect that because all those things could happen to anybody in everyday life. Yeah. Yep.
If you lost a limb, that's a whole different ball game. 100%, or like a friend,
or if like 5 of your friends like died in front of you.
Yeah,
exactly. You might have some issues in the head.
Yes, you might have some issues. And I've even heard arguments saying, "Hey, they need to be only for deployed individuals. That's all disability should be for." And I get their perspective, but the problem is accidents happening during training too.
Yeah, sure.
I know one of my old classmates. She jumped out of a plane, and I think this is what it was. It's a secondhand story, but I believe she jumped out of a plane as a quartermaster. They like pack parachutes and stuff. Went on a windy day, hit the ground hard, and I think she fractured her back. That would be a disability. I don't believe she ever got deployed, but it would be something where it's like, hey, no, this was during a training exercise. You have some fusions in your spine now. Yeah, I think they deserve disability.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with that too. The idea of only people who are deployed is a narrow-sighted one because it doesn't. It is. I think it's in reaction to hearing the numbers and going, "Oh, that's crazy!" And just looking for a simple solution. A simple solution would be deployment. But like you said, accidents happen. PTSD is, you could be from anything going on. And I know there's a lot of issues with SA in training and stuff like that.
I would love if they stopped that because I'm tired of those. Well, I'm tired of those training videos.
And clearly they weren't working.
Month. Yes,
those training videos that always got me because when I was in college, we had them. We had those training videos. It's like how to recognize what's appropriate and inappropriate. And this is SA. Yes. And I'm like, you guys realize the people okay, so they did it in response to a string of attacks on campus or off campus, right next to campus. There's a bunch of bars right next to campus.
Shout out to Ohio State.
Trying not to name them, but there it is. So I went to OSU and they basically had a string of attacks.
He's not wearing the shirt today.
Yeah, for a good reason. No, but they were showing pictures of these people, these predators following these girls back to dorms and stuff and trying to get into their dorms. And you look, it's like dudes in their 30s and 40s. I'm like, those aren't college students. Those aren't these. And you're saying we need to do the training. I'm like, dude, I have never met someone who was like, you know what? I didn't know SA was bad.
Right.
I've never met someone so I'm doing this training. And they're like, this is bad. You shouldn't do that. I'm like, Yeah, duh. But also, one, if somebody who is going to do that clicks through this, it's not going to impact them. It's not going to change what they do. They're either going to do it or they're not in life.
Right.
And two, go give it to the creepy old dudes off campus. Like, make them do the training.
Yeah.
Like, it was. But anyway, to your point is like, or to my point I was saying earlier was there is that. So that is another thing that I think should be covered under there during training. PT, they get assaulted. Okay.
Sure. Or if you're at a training exercise, people have died at those before.
Yeah.
You see your buddy drown in a Humvee roll over in a flood or something. I've heard about those stories before too. I mean, that can get you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think having the perspective of just having deployment folks is misleading.
Yeah. And that's why it needs to be much more nuanced than I think the conversation turns into. I think there are people who Caleb seems to be pretty nuanced about it. He's very much, he's not against the spending at all. He's just against people receiving.
Yeah. And I really do think the fix is addressing what qualifies and what doesn't.
Yeah.
But the reason so many people are doing it, in my perspective, is people are more savvy to it now. So they know to go document to a really annoying degree.
Yeah.
Because I remember some of the more junior enlisted would just be like, hey, I'm going to sick call. I'm going to make sure this is all documented. Which, again, good for them. That's cool. They know what they're doing. But it's that kind of stuff saying, hey, there's our document. Here's our paper trail so I can claim it later. That's generally what it's for.
Yeah, see, that's...
And I mean, you even received confirmation at that one point. I remember during COVID when they were trying to really push everybody to get the shot when the time I got out, because wasn't a big fan of all that. I remember there was somebody in the senior leadership said, hey, I'd rather you get it with us so we can document it. So if there's problems later down the line, it's going to be covered. So that kind of stuff is pushed to make sure that it's covered down the way. So yeah, that's where a lot of it's coming from. It's coming from understanding the documentation is the important part. People becoming more savvy with it. People probably going to be more savvy with it with AI and everything. And plus veterans communicate with each other. A lot of people have military family members, right? So if you have somebody who was in Vietnam and they're like, hey, VA really screwed me over because I didn't have this, that, or the other. Well, then somebody in that same family is like, okay, well, I need to make sure I put every single thing on paper. True. And that's going to spike the increase too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that makes sense 100%. Like my viewpoint on it is like, I'm all for government assistance programs of any kind. I was raised with values that you like help people in need, all that good stuff. I just don't want it to be a waste. You know what I mean? Because it is like our tax dollars, you know what I mean, that go to all these programs.
It's a finite amount.
So, and like you said, if we are paying these leaders of these, NGOs or whatever that are facilitating all this, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to do it, I feel like they should be able to come up with the right guidelines. I feel like there needs to be more oversight into all these programs to make sure that the money's actually going to where it's supposed to go and actually improving things, right?
Yeah.
And like the biggest problem with that is like if you're paid to fix a problem, you don't want to fix it because then you'd lose your job. You know what I mean? So it's pretty frustrating to think about. But I mean, like I think the obvious fix is more oversight, more guidelines. But is that possible? You know what I mean? It's kind of like do these socialist programs jive with a capitalist run economy and country? You know what I mean? Like does it work that way?
And I think it could. I think the problem, personally, this is where I think the problem is too, because a lot of those examples you gave were what? Anxiety, trouble sleeping. A lot of those are really hard to prove.
Yeah.
So how are you gonna prove them?
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of the problems going to come from too. These gray areas. With the mental disabilities, how do you prove somebody's having a hard time? How do you prove that they're struggling to sleep at night? Those small little things. I think that's where a lot of people are getting their claims from, if I remember correctly, from a lot of the folks on those shows or just in general. Because it's an easy one to claim because it's very gray. It's very ambiguous.
He started asking people what they did.
Yeah.
He started asking them. It was a running gag for the longest time. Like when he first started connecting the dots, he's like, I've not had a single veteran on the show that does not receive disability.
Yeah.
And so then you start asking people what they did and what is paid for.
Right.
And
I mean,
it's
for those people. Well, one, I always take it with a grain of salt because you got to remember the folks going on those shows. Not typically the best of the best. They have a lot of financial issues.
Exactly.
They're
on the show for financial issues. Should they really be receiving that 100% disability and they're blowing it? Like,
right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But, we're wasting my money.
Yeah, they really are. What are you doing with
Quite
it?
literally.
I need a statement every month from you.
Like the one that blows my mind is he was making 200K a year and he was getting 4K in disability, and he had like, I think it was like 40 or 50K back pay from disability. In 1 year they paid him back 50K, and he went on a $40,000 cruise. He spent $40,000 on a cruise.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It's like
that's just a doofus. But
that was for his mental health.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I do get the appeal whenever someone's like, "Hey, you can get free money for life." Who doesn't? Who doesn't that appeal to? So I was gonna say, the system itself needs to be addressed.
Right
now, the whole coaching thing, I think, is that's kind of a mixed bag, because when some people say coaching, they mean, "Hey, a buddy told me about this, and I can do this." There are probably agencies out there that'll give them more. Hey, if you go in, make sure you do this. I think if you're lying about what it actually is more fraud.
Yeah.
That's more of a fraud situation. But if they're just within the confines, that's not really much of anything.
No, I agree. Like if it's just the same concept as using a lawyer to defend yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you could be taken advantage by the system if you have a public defender. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, so you get a lawyer, right?
Exactly.
Like you could not get your full, compensation from these from disability if you don't have, proper coaching. So I mean, it's like again, more nuanced than than someone would think, but
I was gonna say there's a way they can address it more. Like, especially with the mental illness thing, or what they can documentally observe and whatnot. I have somebody it's a friend of mine so it's like a friend of a friend, where her sister-in-law works at the VA, and she had once told me a story about how she would look out the window as somebody would approach, and they'd be hobbling out of their car to the VA, get their evaluation done, and then walk normally whenever they leave.
Oh gosh.
So there's always going to be people that try to take advantage of the
sure.
system. That's going to be hard to really stop without being real strict.
Yeah.
But I mean, the best we can do is just keep reevaluating what it is.
I like what you said earlier about redefining which ones, because I find it, especially when you look at the overall trend of mental health issues in this country and the Gen Z and the upcoming generations, they have their mental health is just, I mean, it's in the trash can. And so,
but is it, or is that TikTok telling them that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like my point is like, is it really? Is it that? But regardless, if you're seeing veterans that are now getting, like you said earlier, it's stuff that they would have just naturally gotten anyway. Let's say these numbers are correct. Let's say Gen Z is more depressed for whatever reason, anxiety, whatever. Because all these people I'm seeing on the Caleb Hammer, the ones that are on there are the young ones, and they're all that generation. They've all got the same mental health issues. Who's to say that's service related?
Right.
So, yep.
So
I see what you're saying.
I very much disagree with the simple like anxiety diagnosis, and that could have been them just not wanting to elaborate, which is fine. But I imagine if you go on that show and you're about to be blasted on the internet, you're gonna want to like elaborate, like you're gonna want to like justify why you're getting this, especially if you are a viewer of the show, which they are, like, and know he's gonna say, and your response is anxiety, and that's it. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like if it was more justified, you'd be able to defend it.
And not to knock them. They might have a genuine thing, but in a general sense, most people, when they have anxiety, I think South Park made me laugh because they had an episode about that once where they're like, everybody has freaking anxiety.
100%.
It's just how crippling is it for you?
Yeah. Right.
And is that just you as a person? Because I get Gen Z having more anxiety and everything because they went through COVID and all that other stuff.
They
young people basically
on their phones.
They did go through some stuff.
Yes. So I do get it.
Yeah.
But at the same point, if that's a pre-existing to going into the military, should you get disability for that?
Should you go into
From
the
my
military?
perspective, probably not. Yeah, that's another good point.
Should they only let you in?
Only homeschool kid. No.
Yeah, right.
No, it's just it's tough. It's that, how do you help? In my opinion, these social programs like this you have to have some level of fraud or abuse to make sure others receive help.
That's inevitable. Yeah,
and that's everything. It's almost like restaurants and what do they call it? Spoilage or whatever.
Right.
You got to account for that. It's going to happen. You can't catch everybody.
It's like parents giving their kids lunch money and the kids saving and sending it on something else. You know what I mean? Like it's stuff's going to get abused.
Yeah. Right. I get that. It seems as though, and my perception of it right now is that it seems to be unchecked. Not unchecked completely, but it seems to be a lot more prevalent than...
It can be hard because it's like a sacred cow. You don't want to...
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to touch it.
Right.
I think the rationales need to be
I don't think there's any...
more psychologists, whatever it is.
Something.
Because I think the mental health is honestly what's getting a lot of these.
Probably.
Don't get me wrong. There's PTSD. There's all this other stuff out there.
Mental health.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's stuff out there that's mental health related.
Yeah.
I think that's where I think people are taking the most advantage of.
I would agree. It's a lot harder to prove.
Yes, it is. Yep. It's very hard to prove.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can act
or harder to disprove. I should
yes,
say.
exactly. Yes. I think disprove is a good one.
Yeah.
Because you can act like a raving lunatic, and they can't prove otherwise, unless they go and call all your family members. But then at that point, or family members, friends, whatever. They could easily just lie for you as well.
Sure.
And two, the amount of effort and money that's going to take is going to be a lot as well. Now, granted, the numbers in the military are coming down right now, I believe.
Of what, like enlisted people, or
yeah,
okay,
yeah. So you'll have that big chunk right there. I mean, they'll still have to address all those, so that might be a doable thing. But honestly, I think that just costs so much money just trying to do all these checks.
Why do you think the enlistment numbers are going down?
Well,
does that have to do with Iran?
No, I don't think it has to do with it. It was before.
Okay.
It was before all that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it was the wars were winding down a good bit.
Gotcha.
People were not agreeing with it all the time.
Right.
Benefits, how people were treated in the military. Because you'll hear different stories, whether they're factual or not. Things are out there on the internet. You have those YouTube shorts, those TikTok folks that talk about their experiences. So sometimes that can dissuade people.
Did you see some of those? I'm going to be honest, the recruitment videos were pretty ass too for a while.
No, the animated stuff?
All of them.
Oh, God, that was so bad.
Those stuff doesn't end up in my algorithms.
Those were so bad. They were just like, it was all about be the best you and like do a career and all this stuff like that.
When was this?
Recent, like the last 5-10 years.
Well,
that's not recent.
Like up until...
it was before 10 years. It was like in the last...
Well, I was going to say, it's been going on for a long time, but the big ones I'm talking about last like 5. But it's like all these like commercials that are like so... I don't know. They're very social. Yeah.
Right.
It's like they're like, what is the current cool social thing?
Right.
Yeah.
Not like
very woke.
Hey, do you want to be like,
do
you want to be this badass guy who has this face paint on going and shooting people?
Defending your country.
Yes.
That was my point in asking is like what administration was,
Well, you can take a guess.
That's my point. Because
I remember
be the best you sounds
Pete
like
Hegseth is doing a hell of a job in the Department of War now to getting this thing kicked back off.
Well, it was like 2023, I think, is the one I'm talking about, where it was just all. I think it was the animated one where it was like all just woke. It was crazy. And then that year, Russia and China had military ad campaigns.
Oh, the comparison videos.
And the comparison was China was a bunch of dudes rushing a battlefield in like tanks and futuristic stuff and like crazy cool. And then Russia was just a bunch of roided out jocks just like in the gym. And it was like, and the US is over here like, be the best you. And just, how can we help you? And I was like,
I was the most brave protesting. It's like, okay, all right, killer, calm down.
And I was like,
like what kind of people do you want to attract to your military?
Right,
you know what I mean? The people who want to charge into battle or the ones who want to be the best me?
Yes. I was like, no, you're there to destroy your enemy. That's the whole purpose of the military.
Yeah. I mean, as controversial as it is, it's true.
No, that's what it is. That's why we changed it back to the Department of War. We're not doing defense anymore.
Sure.
I was like, yes, because we have to always justify with defense.
Right. Exactly.
It's like, no, we're totally defending them. It's like, are we doing what's best for America, which is what we're supposed to do?
Exactly. Yep.
No,
I agree.
Yeah, it's I don't know. So maybe we'll see an uptick here with the disability claims going up with that people dropping out, but it's just the one, like you said earlier, it's a sacred cow. It's tough for people to have conversations around it, because if you're too critical of it, you don't like the military. And if you're not critical enough of it, then you support fraud or something. I don't know.
That's probably one of the toughest ones to kind of crack down on, I would think.
Yeah.
Like veteran disability. Yeah. It
probably will be, because that group is a loud group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's all about how it's addressed.
Yeah. And VA disability spending, I think it's like a VA spending, not disability, overall the VA benefits spending, I think is about 5% of the national budget.
What is homelessness? Probably not even close to that.
Well, it depends. Are we including California or no?
Yes.
No, I don't know. I was going to say California is like, homelessness is 110% of our budget.
Yeah, I have a mixed view on the whole homeless thing, because some people just prefer it.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. That narrative is like, I hate calling it a narrative because I think it's just true, but like that idea that homelessness isn't the people who are homeless are, oh no, they lost their job and they're out on the street. Like there are those people.
Sure.
There's a few of them. They're not homeless long, but the mass majority of people you see homeless are there because they want to do drugs.
Yeah.
Or they just don't want, like they cannot function in that box of renting, owning, whatever it is. And so
they don't want to fall in typical society.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's where, like you were saying, it can be reallocated to homeless vets.
Yeah.
Well, of those homeless vets, how many?
Depends. Yeah.
To be quite blunt, it's like how many of them don't really care?
Sure.
Like how many just are like, this is fine, this is my life, I'm cool with it.
Yeah. I'm chilling.
They're like, I like doing whatever I'm doing, either just simply permanently camping. Are they doing substances or something? They just say, hey, I prefer this. I mean, it can. I don't know. I mean, I would like to see what actually that looks like.
Yeah.
Like if they actually talk to them.
Right. No, yeah. Yep. That'd be interesting. Hit the streets and go interview some homeless people.
Well, I know a place. I know a place in Knoxville. There's a whole little bridge where they all hang down.
What do you might have to hire some security or something?
Yeah. Go be like, hey, who wants to talk? Crickets. And it's like, all right, let's do it the California way. Who needs some needles?
who wants some drugs?
California's like, hey, that's how they clean up the street for China last year or whatever it was.
They just hold in front of them, like,
yeah, they just had a trail of needles, and they just like all the homeless just moved. Yeah. But they led them on an elaborate path back in a loop. So then by the time China was there and gone, the Chinese diplomats,
so funny.
They were back.
Homeless parade around the city.
Yeah.
The trail of heroin.
Yeah. No, the homeless thing is definitely interesting because like a lot of it's drug related issues, right? Mm. And what they're doing in California, like you said, is they're giving people either drugs or needles or whatever to use it safely. You know, if you're a drug addict and you're giving, you know, you're enabling it, obviously, rather than fixing it. I mean, that's really a lot of what's going on. But
yeah, that is really sad too.
Yeah.
I'm looking something up because there's it's been hilarious. So during the Joe Biden administration, 2022, the government funded local groups to reduce drug overdoses. So they gave them gave them kits to make sure if they're going to be doing the drugs, they're doing them safely.
Oh, nice.
And it was just funny to me.
It's better than getting AIDS. But
yeah, no, that was this as it cracked down like AIDS and stuff like that. Yeah, so it was testing strips, hygiene kits, Naxalone. In some cases, they were giving them kits with crack pipes in them. And it was funny to me because at the time the joke was, yes, leave it to a Biden to be giving out free crack pipes.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
That is funny.
But yeah, I don't know. Well, I think that was pretty informative. Thanks for your opinion on those things, Scott, your perspective, because I don't know, it's a problem, but really, you know, what are we going to do about it?
Well, I feel like there's bigger problems.
Yeah, it exists. I mean, it's a thing.
Yeah, it's concerning because obviously it's fraud, you know, and nobody likes to waste money, especially not our money. But
yeah,
you know,
but it is more nuanced than simply just reducing the spending,
right?
And I'm all for just reallocating it. I think it's, you know, hell, spend a bit more for the military.
Or just pay off America's debts.
Yeah. There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for talking, Scott. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this was fun. Ethan, what do we need to do? What do we need to remind the people to do?
Like, comment, do whatever.
Press the buttons, do the things.
Yeah, they already know.
They know. Yeah. Everyone says it everywhere. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
Drop a poop emoji.
Yeah. Okay, that's your new ending. That's your new outro.
We don't care what it is. Just do something.